Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some coaching vacancies, Clark. Right now, as of this minute, there are 7 job openings in the NFL. The latest, Pete Carroll I guess he's going to be an advisor for the team. So I guess that's not technically fired. He's still going to work for the organization, but he's not going to be the coach anymore. And then yesterday, Mike Vrabel was let go. So the Seattle one is a shocker to me. Like Pete Carroll not being the head coach, I'm surprised at that. I thought Vrabel was up in the air. I didn't, I thought that you could have been 50-50 on that. But yeah, the Pete Carroll one just shocks me, Clark, because I think the Seattle roster is really good. And I know that the Geno Smith quarterback thing is probably at an end. You're probably gonna have to figure something out as far as that goes. But if I'm a coach looking at jobs, that Seattle one is awfully attractive. It's not quite as attractive as the Los Angeles Chargers because they obviously have Justin Herbert. But other than quarterback, Seattle has everything you would want.
Well, they fleeced the Broncos in the Russell Wilson trade. Damn, they really got the better of them. And like you said, yeah, they got a really good roster. So it's and even look, they almost made the playoffs again this year. So I can understand we can criticize Geno Smith as there's a ceiling, right, that you're not really going to get past with Geno Smith as your quarterback. But you could kind of if you draft somebody this year, or maybe you just make do with Geno Smith and then you draft somebody else, like you could kind of flip that around really quick. And it's not even like they need to flip it around, really. They're a good roster. They made the playoffs last year. They had a pretty good record this year. So that's a pretty quick, if you get the right guys in there, you can really flip that around. So that's kind of interesting. That was unexpected. We'll kind of see what happens. The Titans, okay. They got a lot of problems. I don't really think the head coach was the problem. I don't know what was going on with personnel the last couple of years. They drafted Malik Willis, and that obviously didn't work. And then they have Will Levis, and that's, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a situation where the general manager wanted to, they hired a new general manager last year, and I think he wants control of it, and so they got rid of Vrabel, and I think that's definitely I don't think it's a great move for them. I'm not sure there's not a lot of Mike Vrabels out there. I think the guy did a hell of a job with that team, made the playoffs, won some playoff games, won the division a few times. So I think that I don't think Vrabel will be long for getting another job. I think that'll be pretty easy. But I want to talk about this, Clark. We don't know what's happening with New England yet, but I have a feeling that it's if Belichick's trying to go to another team, New England's trying to work out some kind of compensation for someone. I think that might be why it's taking a while. But regardless, we don't know what's going to happen. But assuming Belichick is out, right? And we don't know that yet, but assuming he's out, Clark, why would anyone I know that Robert Kraft's a great owner. Who's killing for the New England job? Why would you want this job? They have no offensive personnel, right? You got to figure out the quarterback thing. Now, I know they have the 3rd pick in the draft, so you can probably draft a quarterback. So from that standpoint, it's okay. But I'm not sure this is a great place to be jumping into, right now. I would much rather take the Chargers job or the Seattle job or the Washington Commanders job. Because of their particular situations over New England.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I'm just wondering, assuming Belichick is gone, who they're actually going to hire. Because we don't have any history, really, of understanding who they would hire, because Belichick's been there for 24 years. Okay, and before him, they had
Pete Carroll.
Right. It was Belichick. It was Parcells, and then Pete Carroll, and then But Belichick is a Parcells guy, so they probably knew him through that, so that's why they got him. So,
and he was the defensive. He was the defensive.
Are they going to be like a team that is very insular and just hires Gerard Mayo, Vrabel, I think, seems to be a good coach, but that is a huge rebuild that they got to do there. Is he the right guy for that? he definitely he turned the Titans around in terms of making them a tougher football team. He improved their defense, and they definitely had an identity with him. Running with Derrick Henry, and then Tannehill doing play action stuff off of that. But I mean, the Patriots have none of that to speak of. So who wants that job, and who's qualified to go in there and really flip things around? And are they? Does the ownership know how to do that? Because I mean, you really look at it, they've just let Belichick run the whole show, and the only reason it worked is because they had Tom Brady. I mean, Patriots fans, like, you need to kind of buckle down here for a minute, because you guys might just be bad for a while. I mean, you've been bad since Brady left, but you might just be bad for a while. I mean, sometimes this happens, and it's tough to turn around.
Yeah, if I was Mike Vrabel, the Patriots would not be at the top of my list. If I'm interviewing for jobs, that would just not be it. I think, but I wanted to just go through this. I mean, we talked about this the other day, but I mean, what was the best fit for Harbaugh? I mean, I think the Chargers probably is number one, because, they fired the GM and all of that. I mean, I think Washington's number two, but I'll tell you what, I don't think Seattle's a bad place. Like, if I'm Seattle, I'm definitely, I mean, now here's the problem with that, though. They have Pete Carroll as an advisor. You can't really hire Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. Not really going to work.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't think there's any chance of that happening because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that people are kind of missing here. Like, Harbaugh's not for everybody. Like, I know everybody thinks, oh, well, he's just going to get an NFL job. It's no problem. There's only probably 2 or 3 places, I mean, if that would even take him. Like, it's not like, I know Harbaugh's won a lot of games. I know he's a great coach. No question about that. But the fit has to be correct. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So yeah, I would definitely. To me, I think it's Chargers and Washington are the two best jobs available. And yeah, I think this is crazy. Like, I certainly didn't see Seattle coming open. That was a curveball, and we get one every year in head coaching searches. So 7 jobs open, and then.